Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Stretford Paddock. I am Adam McKola, back on the channel again. I will be with the boys in the studio tomorrow as well, so don't you panic about that. But right now, it's the Manchester United news, and Harry Maguire is set to join West Ham because Manchester United have agreed a fee worth £30 million for him to join their club. There's even talk about him becoming the West Ham captain, but we've got that plus much more to get stuck into on this channel, so make sure you're keeping it locked. Subscribe, like, comment, share, you know the drill. Get stuck in with your thoughts in the comments below as well. And yeah, we're hearing right now from Laurie Whitwell, our mate Laurie Whitwell, West Ham have agreed a £30 million Harry Maguire transfer with Manchester United. West Ham have reached an agreement to sign Man United defender Harry Maguire. The Athletic reported on Monday that the London club had offered £30 million for Maguire, and that sum has now been accepted. David Moyes' side are seeking reinforcements after selling Declan Rice to Arsenal in a deal worth £105 million, while Maguire will hope to revive his career after falling down the pecking order under Erik ten Hag. The 30-year-old made just 16 Premier League appearances last season. He was behind Martinez, Varane, Lindelof, and even Luke Shaw in the pecking order at centre-back. Manchester United are about to keep Johnny Evans as well. And, you know, Harry Maguire's chances of regular football do not look very high at Manchester United. And it seemed like this was the thing that was going to happen or had to happen. He had the captaincy taken off him. He's not being played regularly. He was £80 million signing. You can't just sit on the bench, do you know what I mean? And it's clear the manager doesn't fancy him. Despite the manager's words in public and in the press and all those kind of things, I think that was done to retain the value, but also, you know, keep the player on side in case you do end up in a position where he stays at the club. And I think Erik ten Hag's handled it absolutely perfectly because his actions have spoke so much louder than his words. And it says, The Athletic has reported that Maguire, whose contract runs until 2025, hoped to stay and fight for a place at Old Trafford. But England manager Gareth Southgate has indicated that a lack of playing time at United could impact his international career, which I think is obvious anyway. And besides that, you should have some personal ambition to want to play regularly. If you're going to be sat on the bench at Manchester United, you know, hardly playing, Luke Shaw getting selected ahead of you, potentially Johnny Evans, then you may as well get out of there. Maguire joined United from Leicester for £80 million. It's a big loss Manchester United have made on him, but I think ultimately it wasn't Ten Hag's decision to sign him, and Ten Hag has gone out there and made the decision to get rid of the player. Laurie Whitwell at the end of the article also put West Ham have also bid £30 million for Scott McTominay, but that has been rejected. I can't believe that's been rejected, to be totally honest with you. There's talk United are trying to hold out for 40 to 45 million, but now West Ham are looking at a move for James Ward-Prowse. Are we going to scupper our chances to actually recoup a decent fee for Scott McTominay here by asking for too much? Or am I being silly? Is he worth that much money? I just think £30 million is probably about a fair fee. Maybe you try and get some add-ons chucked onto it and reinvest that into your midfield area. We have obviously got the fact that Fred could be on his way out of the club, but you read the fee that Fred would collect, it'd be about £12-13 million. If we were going to keep one of the two, I'd probably lean towards Fred anyway. I'm surprised Manchester United haven't taken that, but hopefully discussions still continue. Although if West Ham do sign Ward-Prowse, and the chances that they sign Scott McTominay probably are probably a lot slimmer. But anyway, Harry Maguire set to join West Ham in a £30 million move. We've now been linked with Todibo from Nice, joining Manchester United as a centre-back, as a possible replacement. He's been touted there for a fair while now, and it's always been on the proviso that, you know, Harry Maguire leaves Manchester United. So it could be a case that that is about to happen now as well. John Clare Todibo potentially joining Manchester United following this move being completed. But as I said, we'll keep our eyes and ears and all those things peeled to see what's going on with that. We have had some other news as well that Højlund could miss a big chunk of action because he's got, let me read the article actually. Manchester United new boy Rasmus Højlund could face an extended spell on the sidelines after his Red Devil switch was confirmed last week due to a stress response hotspot in his back, otherwise known as a stress fracture. The issue is believed to be very common in younger players and is a not long-term cause for concern for those running the show at Old Trafford. The reasons behind the issue are constant running, twisting, kicking, jumping and landing, and the impact that can have on soft tissue between the vertebrae. Now, we've seen Marcus Rashford aggravate a similar injury and spend long times out, so Manchester United are going to have to manage this correctly. It says more often than not, these issues take around 2 to 3 months to heal from the moment the last game was played. Thankfully for United, Højlund has not been in action since representing Denmark on June the 19th. Therefore, while still 6 weeks left to go in regards to the forward recovery, it could have been much longer had he participated in pre-season for Atalanta. What United's medical team would undoubtedly be wary of is how easily such a problem can arise again, sometimes even if the player themselves feel fine. So he seems to have this underlying issue, which we now have to wait for it to get out the way. Look, Rasmus Højlund was signed for the future and with the future in mind and his long-term future in mind. But that's not ideal because you do want the player to be available, as quickly as possible. And imagine United didn't know the extent of that when they signed him. But nevertheless, that's what's happening. Laurie Whitwell with another one says Manchester United are targeting the Arsenal game on September the 3rd as a potential debut date for Rasmus Højlund. Still recovering from back injury with no definitive timeline. Has been out on the grass in Carrington, but expected to miss the first three Premier League matches. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. On to Debo as well. We have heard United have held constructive talks with Nice about the sale of Jean-Claire Todibo. United are looking for replacements in the event that Harry Maguire leaves. Obviously, that's now becoming much more clearer. And they contacted Nice and received an encouraging response about the availability of Todibo, a 23-year-old centre-back who stands at 6'3". So, could Todibo be on his way in to replace Harry Maguire? Who knows? But Harry Maguire set to join West Ham in a £30 million deal, which will see Manchester United lose a huge chunk on it. But as I said previously, the player's clearly not in Erik ten Hag's first 11 plans, second 11 plans. He's clearly, taking the captaincy of him. His position on Harry Maguire has been made clear. And that's one thing Ten Hag has done. He's made big decisions at Manchester United and he's not been scared to make them. Taking the captaincy of Maguire, the decision in terms of, dropping Rashford for a game when he was a bit late and kind of just setting the tone with the rest of the squad and not just treating academy players like that. The Cristiano Ronaldo thing, everything that Ten Hag has touched at Manchester United, I think he's dealt with properly, professionally, as a Manchester United manager should, without trying to create too much fuss, although there'll always be fuss created around Manchester United with the headlines and the stories and everything. And I just have utmost confidence in Erik ten Hag being the man to bring success back to Manchester United. And getting rid of Harry Maguire now, big decision, obviously brings in big funds for Manchester United, although it is a loss on the original transfer fee. There's talk about Dean Henderson, Fred, Scott McTominay, Donny van der Beek potentially leaving as well. So we could still see a few more incomings for Manchester United. And the squad would be looking in a much better position. And I, for one, take my hat off to Erik ten Hag for doing that. I think he's managed things properly, cut his cloth accordingly. And right now, the squad's looking in a much better place. And hopefully a few more through the door. And who knows what we can do this season, you know what I mean? I'm very confident, though, that it will be better than last season. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're keeping it locked to Stretford Paddock by hitting that subscribe button. And I'll see you in a bit.